Okay, let's get started with the agenda for the West Haymarket Joint Public Agency being held today. My name is Chris Beitler, and I'm one of three members of our Joint Public Agency Board, along with Carl Eskridge and Tim Clare. We operate under the Open Meetings Law, and a copy of that law is in the back of the room for anybody that would like to reference it. Under that law, we allow public comment and time limit notification in the instance of this particular board and how we do it. We ask people to keep their speaking to a total of 5 minutes, but they're certainly welcome to testify on any appropriate item on today's general agenda, and we ask only that they identify themselves for the record. Gentlemen, unless you want to make any sort of opening comment, I think we'll move on to agenda item number 3, which is approval of the minutes of the JPA meeting held on January 25th, 2018. Been a motion to approve the amendments.
Second.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Any further comment? Seeing none, call the roll.
Claire,
Yes.
Beitler,
Yes,
Eskridge,
Yes.
the minutes are approved. The next item is the January 2018 payment register, which will be presented to us by Brandon Kaufman, our finance officer.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Before you have the 2018 January payment register. The total for the January operating expenditures was $612,362.38. And then the January total of for capital expenditures was $15,696.77. And some of the highlights of the payment register for on the operating expenditures, there was the $81,500 payment to the Park and Rec Foundation. That was the final payment from the Hawkins settlement that has been received and paid to the Park and Rec Foundation. There's a number of assessments included in there that are paid to the county for the West Haymarket Maintenance District. The repair maintenance reimbursement, that's 3 months of reimbursements from September through November. The largest payment in there was about $65,000 for annual maintenance contract for IT services, and then the rest was primarily due to food and beverage maintenance. Then in addition, there was a reimbursement for some CIP projects that were completed at the arena. That was about $64,792.44. The largest of that was the repair of the naming rights sign at $49,437 that the board approved. You have expenses in there from Brager Construction for $11,777.95. That was to stop skaters from grinding. And then $293,181.44 for parking management, and that includes 2 months worth of parking management for November and December. The capital budget expenditures, like I mentioned earlier, $15,000. Those are primarily due to upcoming expenses for the canopy, environmental monitoring, and then also the PC sports management contract. The occupation taxes from year to date on a revenue side are up 1.62%. That's in line, close to where we budget for at 2% over time. But those, when you look at the original projected revenues compared to where we are at now, they're hitting 2029 projections. So we're doing very good on the revenue side. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Carl.
Yes, Brandon, the sign work That wasn't covered by any kind of warranty or anything, was it? That was,
Not that I'm
Why not?
aware of.
Yeah.
I didn't-
okay. All right, thank you.
You have anything, Tim?
We had talked last time about the monies we put in an endowment and the
Yes.
monies that we've put towards the Haymarket footprint, West Haymarket footprint,
Mhm.
to ensure that not only is it kept clean, but it's also kept up.
Mhm.
We talked about last time, I think, about you looking to see if there's any overlap, if the monies are being used that way. Did you have a chance to go back and look at that?
Yeah, and I looked at the exhibit. I'm sorry I didn't bring that today. But the exhibit that when it was set up, when that money was transferred to the foundation, didn't allow for repairs in certain areas. I believe that was in the arena and then also the parking lots. So those areas would be excluded from receiving any money for that type of repairs. So all of the money would be going to items in the JPA footprint, but excluded with the arena and the parking lots
And so
excluded.
these expenditures, these maintenance projects that you're reporting on today, there was no overlap, and these were all done per the endowment or per the agreement with?
Yes, these expenses are entirely related to the arena.
Any further questions or comment? If not, is there a motion to approve the payment register for January 2018?
We need to have public, we
Pardon me?
need to hear from the public.
Ah, you're right. We're open for public comment, Jane.
So what IT services are included in that?
In the arena maintenance and repair, we have annual contracts from 5/9s. And so those, let's see if I can find the sheet. So one of the payments was $59,000. That was part of an annual contract with 5/9s for Cisco SmartNet.
Okay. So JPA picks that up rather than SMG?
We reimburse them for that,
You do?
yes.
Okay. And they give you bills for that then?
Yes, they typically do it on a quarterly basis.
Okay. And that comes out of their say, out of their, they have an ongoing contract, you reimburse them for it, and that's part of their, takes off the profit?
They submit they pay for the expenditures
Okay.
and then submit to us documentation of those, and then we reimburse them for those
Okay.
expenditures.
So basically, the contract's with the city then? Or, I'm not sure I have, how I get the connection there.
I mean, typically the contracts are approved by some sort of purchasing mechanism. So we're utilizing some contract through the city county purchasing department.
Okay, so that comes out of the JPA budget or the city budget?
It's paid out of the arena budget, and then we reimburse them for those expenditures.
Okay. Why is that?
I think that's the way it's set up.
Oh, okay. So you're not sure why that does that, or that you're just following directions from the city?
Well, I mean, we go through and we set an annual maintenance or an annual budget, and part of that budget on the arena side includes these reimbursements or these expenditures for, capital improvements or these maintenance type items that the JPA reimburses them for.
Okay. Does that come out of the budget set up for the JPA?
Yes, we
One of the
budget,
items?
we budget those expenditures on an annual basis.
Okay. And the money comes from the original money that was set up for this, is that it?
Well, there's certain line items that include these type of expenditures within the operating budget.
Okay. So is that taxpayers who are, it's separate on the JPA budget, or is it our taxpayers supporting that?
Well, there's multiple revenue streams that come into the JPA that some of those go back to the arena, but those would include occupation taxes. They would include, arena from the parking garages, sponsorship money that's generated by the arena.
Okay, so occupation taxes do?
It comes in as one pot, and then some of that money is transferred back over or reimbursed to the arena.
Okay. So, even though the revenue's coming up, how's the balance there? You're saying the revenue is up. Does that affect the balance of occupation tax, or is that a separate?
Our reserves continue to grow, and I think that was what was originally,
Talking about,
that was
okay.
what was originally forecasted.
Okay,
So that when we hit 2021, when the principal payments are start to be repaid, that we do have sufficient balances there.
okay. So even though the revenues are up, it's evens out?
In 5 minutes.
Or are the occupation tax lowered by that?
Sorry, I'm not sure I understand your question.
Okay, well, you're talking about the occupation tax being up. If you looked at it with expenditures, would it still be up?
What the forecast that we're seeing is that our occupation taxes are growing enough so that when we hit that 2021 period, they're sufficient to pay all necessary debt service payments.
Okay. And how often do you go over that?
We review it at least on a quarterly basis.
Quarterly? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Jane, I think your 5 minutes is up.
Yeah, I was just writing here for this. I'm done.
Okay. Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the payment register?
So moved.
Check.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion? Call the roll.
Claire,
Yes.
Beitler,
Yes,
Eskridge.
Yes.
the register is approved. Agenda item number 5, the 2018 expenditure report review. Brandon?
So you have before you also the expenditure budgets for operating and capital. The payments that we just discussed on the payment register are included, and year to date there's no significant issues. Everything's in line as originally projected.
Thank you, Brandon. Questions of Brandon? Is there public comment on agenda item number 5? Seeing none, no action is required on agenda item number 5, so we'll move on to agenda item number 6, Resolution WH 18-3, And Adam, you're going to take us through that, huh?
Sure. As this, Adam Holbeiner with Project Control. As discussed last week, we have an area underneath the arena plaza on the north side of the arena that has attracted some inhabitants that are unwanted, also known as pigeons. Well, Tim, you're there sometimes too, but so what we're looking at is finding a way to prevent them from roosting in these areas and finding a way that is permanent and has very little maintenance long-term. So we've brought it forward a contract with DLR Group to assess some ways of accomplishing that. It is an hourly not to exceed contract, and we will be coming forth in a future meeting with a proposed solution and timetable.
Thank you. Questions of Adam? Any public comment on this particular?
That's just a question.
I'm sorry.
What's your timing on this? And I'm being serious. No, I'm being serious. No, it can't have been done by then, but I mean, we've got commencement coming up in May, and people come in from that north side, which is where this is, and I don't wanna have to text you again and say, hey, there's a big mess here. So I'm serious. I would be interested to know what your timetable is to try to get this taken care of.
I think it'll be twofold. I think we will try to get the permanent solution up by then. Hopefully we'll have something to bring forward in March meeting. But if not, we will find other means to prevent them for that short period while we get the permanent solution in place. So I would say, yeah, next month we'll have one thing or the other in front of you.
Okay.
You have a comment, Jane?
Back in December of 2013, this issue was discussed before the JPA. And at that time, there was a plan to spend nearly $300,000 or half of the $600,000 with the city putting in the other 300. So I'm wondering what happened to that, how much money was spent from the JPA, and why it wasn't followed up at that time.
Adam, do you have information on
Sure.
this?
That area that was discussed in 2013 was for the Harris Overpass, and it is actually a prime example of a way to permanently prevent this issue. We have had no issues with pigeons on these areas we did do that project. The JPA's portion, I think they split the cost with the city, and the JPA's portion is roughly between 6th and 7th Street and all over to the railroad tracks. So that project was done, and it has been, seems to be a permanent fix. We haven't had any issues and really haven't had to put any hours or maintenance time into it.
Okay, so where is this part you're looking at now?
Do you know the bridge that says Lincoln?
Yeah?
It is between where that bridge ends and the underside of that plaza there for the north entrance of the arena. So there's parking underneath, there's the entrance to the basketball facilities underneath, and there's also stairs that go down from the second level plaza down to the lower level. And we tried pigeon spikes to no avail, and we continue to have issues.
Okay. So, you solved the problem, the other problem I'm talking about, and you're not sure that that's a solution, which is why you want $4,800 more dollars?
No, we have to engineer the specific solution for the specific area. They vary, and there's a lot of differences between the Harris Overpass and the Arena Plaza. And I'm hopeful that we don't have to spend as much money per square foot as we did on the Harris Overpass, because there was some bridge inspection requirements, things like that. But each project is different, and each project has to have a specific solution. And we also have somebody that can produce documents to bid, so we can get competitive bids.
So this is what DLR is supposed to do?
Yep.
Okay, come
We
up
will-
with,
Yep, we're gonna help work with them to find a solution.
okay. And, but they aren't able to get the project?
Oh, yeah, they're designers, they're not constructors.
Okay.
Yep.
So they'll be in the bid process?
Yep, we'll go to city purchasing and when that time comes. But the
Okay.
JPA obviously will have to
Okay.
approve that part.
So is it possible that the other solution just drove the pigeons to a new place?
That's very possible.
Okay. So there is no permanent solution?
If you're asking if we're solving today the permanent solution for a pigeon problem in Lincoln, no, that is not the goal. It is to prevent a health issue under the arena that we're experiencing now. But
Okay.
the pigeons fly all over town.
And you tried to do it with a cost-effective manner with the spikes over there. You tried to do that, and that just is not working. They've maneuvered around it.
Yep.
So, you tried a solution, there's something you're looking for that you don't know about. Is that why you're spending this money?
We're trying to engineer the permanent solution.
Is there any in mind?
It's probably gonna be something similar to what was done on Harris Overpass, just, we're looking at cost-effective ways to, maybe not to go to that depth.
Pigeons have minds of their own.
They do.
So you might have to have a elimination process?
That is not the JPA's role, I don't believe, but yes,
Okay.
I'm sure there's somebody in the city that could look at that, the pigeon solution, but it's not our role.
Well, this is a problem all over the country because pigeons have their own mind. And it looks like it's going to be a matter of outsmarting pigeons. And I don't know if that's possible.
All right.
What ballpark figure are you giving it?
I do not have one at this time.
No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Is there further public comment? Seeing none, is there a motion to
So moved.
approve WH 18-3? It's been moved to approve.
Second.
Seconded, moved and seconded. Further discussion? Being none, call the roll.
Claire,
Yes.
Beitler,
Yes.
Eskridge.
Yes.
Resolution's passed. Agenda item number 7, the next meeting date without objection will be March 22nd, 2018 at 2:30 PM in the City County Building. Is that okay? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Been moved, seconded to adjourn. Call the roll.
Claire,
Yes.
Beitler,
Yes,
Eskridge.
Yes.
we are adjourned.